Welcome, focused learners, to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are looking at a story that completely defies every conventional expectation we have about elite competition. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're exploring a narrative of incredible resilience, brilliant innovation, and what is arguably the ultimate sacrifice in the entire history of sports. We're talking about a man who altered the course of chess history forever, not by making some genius move on the board, but by actually stepping away from it. I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine dedicating your absolute entire life to a single pursuit. You fight tooth and nail, you sacrifice everything, and you finally earn a spot in the interzonal tournament. Now, this isn't just any tournament. It's the crucial, undeniable gateway to the World Championship. You are standing right there, right at the threshold of the ultimate prize. And then you just simply step aside. You give your hard-earned spot away to someone else. I mean, let's be real. Why on earth would anyone do that?
Well, that brings us to a massively pivotal year, 1970. In 1970, a top-tier Grandmaster named Pal Benko did exactly that. He had rightfully earned a spot in the interzonal tournament, but instead of sitting down to play, he just stepped aside. He literally handed his hard-earned position to his close friend, a young, somewhat troubled but undeniably brilliant player named Bobby Fischer. Benko believed so deeply in Fischer's genius that, acting as a mentor and a friend, he made this absolutely monumental decision to just get out of the way.
And this perfectly illustrates the crazy ripple effect of that one single choice. Because Benko stepped aside in 1970, Bobby Fischer was actually able to compete. Fischer goes on to win the World Championship in 1972, a moment that completely changed the landscape of chess forever. But, to truly understand the sheer magnitude of Benko's sacrifice, we can't just look at what happened in 1970. We really have to look at the man himself.
Section 1. Surviving Chaos, the Cold War Origins of a Grandmaster.
Looking at his history proves Benko was a survivor, definitely not a quitter. Born in France in 1928, he was raised in Hungary during a period of just immense global turmoil. By 1948, at just 20 years old, he becomes the Hungarian chess champion. But, as was often the case back then, success brought a lot of danger. He was living under the intense, constant scrutiny of a Soviet-aligned regime. During the 1950s, he was actually imprisoned. Yeah, they suspected him of being a Western spy. Think about that for a second. He survived prison, and then later, in 1957, during the World Student Team Championship, he made this incredibly daring defection to the United States. There is such a profound irony to his story. I mean, he traded the safety of his home for the freedom to simply play the game he loved. This was clearly not a man who lacked ambition. He risked his life, his freedom, and his homeland just so he could play chess freely. Which obviously creates a massive curiosity gap for us. Why would a man who sacrificed his entire life in Europe for his own freedom to play eventually give up his ultimate chess dream in 1970? Well, to answer that, we really have to look at his caliber as a player.
Section 2. The Innovator, Changing How the Game is Played.
The absolutely crucial thing to understand here is that Benko didn't step aside for Fischer because he wasn't good enough. Not even close. Benko was an absolute innovator on the board. He popularized the famous Benko Gambit. The sequence is just brilliant. It goes 1d4 f6, then 2c4 c5, and finally the defining move, 3d5 b5. This is an incredibly aggressive positional trap. By intentionally sacrificing a pawn early on, Black aims this tremendous long-term attacking pressure. Benko took this aggressive, brilliant gambit and made it an absolute staple for attacking players everywhere. And his versatility, completely unmatched. While he had the super aggressive Benko Gambit in his arsenal, he also created Benko's opening. By famously opening with 1g3, he defeated absolute legends of the game, including Mikhail Tal and, get this, yes, Bobby Fischer himself during the 1962 Candidates Tournament. So he didn't just play against the legends, he literally beat them. He also competed in the elite candidates tournaments of 1959 and 1962. So make no mistake, Benko was a world-class player. He had undeniably earned his place at the absolute top tier of the game. He wasn't some amateur looking for an easy exit. He was a master playing at the very peak of his powers. And honestly, knowing all of this makes his eventual sacrifice in 1970 even more profound. It was a sacrifice deeply rooted in his personal philosophy of the game. Section 3. The Renaissance Man, a deep love for the beauty of chess. You see, Benko's genius wasn't just confined to winning major tournaments. He truly loved the pure aesthetics of the game. FIDE actually awarded him the title of International Master of Chess Composition. This is an incredibly rare title given only to world-class composers of chess problems and endgame studies. He didn't just play the game, he quite literally designed its beauty. He was a master creator of these complex, beautiful puzzles that pushed the very boundaries of chess logic.
And his contributions to the broader culture of chess were just monumental. He was widely considered the undisputed master and authority of chess endgames. He ran the highly respected Endgame Lab column in Chess Life magazine for decades. He updated Reuben Fine's essential classic book, Basic Chess Endings, and even wrote this incredible deep-dive memoir called Pal Benko, My Life, Games and Compositions. He was so deeply embedded in teaching and sharing the game with others, which ultimately defined exactly how he wanted to be remembered.
Section 4. Resolution and Legacy, the Integrity of the Game. So, viewing his 1970 sacrifice through the lens of everything we've just uncovered, his survival against incredible odds, his elite skill level, and his profound love for chess composition, the ultimate takeaway becomes pretty clear. Pal Benko simply cared more about the integrity and beauty of the game itself than his own personal accolades. Acting almost as a mentor and a father figure, he sacrificed his spot because he believed deeply in Fischer's unique genius. He knew exactly what a Fischer World Championship run would mean for the game of chess as a whole. So in 1970, he selflessly gives his interzonal spot to Fischer. The very next cycle, in 1972, Fischer fulfills all that potential and wins the World Championship. And as for Pal Benko, well, he lived a remarkably long, fulfilled life full of personal triumph. He passed away in 2019 at the age of 91, universally revered as a true legend of the sport. His one selfless act rippled all the way through history, basically elevating the game he loved far above his own ego.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final lingering thought. What are you willing to sacrifice for the love of the game? Whether your game is chess, your career, or your creative passions, Pal Benko showed us that sometimes true greatness isn't about taking the crown for yourself. Sometimes it's about having the wisdom and the grace to clear the path for someone else. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep learning.